Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I am in Newport Beach, California, and just on a little getaway. And I like to make some observations. I'm always looking at homes and buildings and seeing how they hold up to the elements. A lot of people actually live on the coastal regions of the United States, and those coastal regions really get inundated with a lot of moisture. And moisture is your enemy. It will destroy your home. One thing I wanted to show you here is we're out on a porch deck here, and this here is actual wood that's just painted. There's a big problem with that. Right underneath that we've got some trim, but the water can actually come around here and get underneath this trim and get behind the the sheeting that's right down here on this wall. I'm going to show you how destructive that can be if it's not done right. Now, I don't recommend wood exposed like this. This should be covered with flashing all the way and at least 3 to 4 inches down past the pointy wall here. You'll see there's some joints right here. That's a good place for water to get down, and over time it will do a number on this deck. You want to make sure that your wood is not really exposed, and I'll show you a problem over here. On this rafter here, right over there, if you can look real closely, those rafters, roof rafters coming out, punching out through the wall, they're actually exposed, and 2 or 3 of them are already starting to rot. And that's because the water is coming off of the drip edge, hitting that end of that wood. And because we're in a very high humid or high moisture content area, every night there's puddles of water everywhere. There's just water because the condensation from the air, from the cooling of the air, lands on the plants, the roof, everywhere, and it will actually do a number. So that gets wet almost every single night, those rafters, and as a result it actually does some damage. I'm going to go down and show you some other issues and why I'm talking the way I'm doing. We'll go down there. Okay, we're down here, down below, looking at where I was just up there on that little deck over here, and I can see, even though this is more remodeled than the one across the way, eventually this here can turn into this one here. And you can see up at the top there's no flashing at the top of the pony wall, and so water drips all the way down and it gets behind the board, and this is all rotted. Even the header looks like it's completely going to start to rot. And when you let that happen and it starts to rot, you get to have to deal with a house like that. This house here is now being completely fumigated of termites, and anytime you have sustained moisture over a long period of time, it will get into the house and basically destroy the house, and now you've got to do a complete fumigation of that. And I'm not a fan of that. When this happens, it's always because the home was poorly built in the first place. Here's a home with some batten board on it, and of course we've got some good flashing there and some good caulking, and so water is not going to get behind that fascia board. You want to keep water away at all costs. But you can walk all the way down here this alley, look at all these homes, and just look at the wear and tear at some of them and how others have really been kept up because they were done right. If you're looking at a header above a garage door here, you should have some flashing right there. The flashing would come out. If water hits the flashing, it comes out over the top of this trim, but there's no flashing there. So if it's not caulked right, that water can literally get behind there and start to work its way at the structure of the home. Especially in an environment like this. It's so educational for me to be in an environment like this because I build in a very arid, very desert environment. Things dry out like that. And so it's not as much of an issue, but here it's a really big issue. And if you're living on the coastal regions, study flashing, study how water flows, and you'll actually start to make some better knowledge. I'll build knowledge about how better to build. There's some beautiful homes down here in Newport Beach, California, and I see some of them just get weathered away so quick because of how poorly they were built. You can see up here on the eave on this one here how the paint starts to flake. I would never have wood exposed like that. You can even see up here on this house, there's no reason why they can't kick that out with a little eave to keep the water away from the house. And that flashing is just right up against that fascia board. I would cover the fascia board with aluminum. Aluminum is probably one of the best products you can put on a home for flashing and keeping water out. There's a lot of flashing I see around here that's galvanized, but that's not going to last. That's not going to last very long. I've seen so much flashing rusting away in the area down here. As you're driving around, look at homes and see how they're weathering and try to analyze why it's weathering that way, why the water was not kept out appropriately, and you'll start to understand building science. And again, water is the worst enemy of a home. It will destroy a home more than UV damage. It could actually do more damage over time than even an earthquake sometimes, because it just will get in there and rot away. So just a little observation I thought I'd give you guys real quick. Just think about it. Water, even the condensation that lands on the home, it's constantly keeping everything wet and moist. You don't want to have to go through what that homeowner's doing down there and having to fumigate it of damage, termite damage. So this is Keith Kelch giving you a post from Newport Beach, California. You guys take care.